Playing OP champions will help you climb, but not that much really. You can climb with any champion, because your gameplay is going to mean much more than what champion you pick. Honestly, OP champions look weak when I watch low elo play them. But why is that? There are a few reasons for this, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The concepts we're going to go over will apply to any champion though, not just the meta champ we're going to look at. But with that being said, let's just jump into some gameplay, shall we? In the first game, we're looking at a gold 4 player on Camille vs Garen. Camille has been one of the most OP top laners in solo queue for a while now, with a 13% pick rate and a 52.5% win rate. Those are pretty crazy numbers. Also, Camille is Garen's hardest matchup. Yes, even harder than ranged top laners like Vayne. Camille outscales Garen, and Garen is supposed to get stronger as the game progresses, so he doesn't end up having a win condition. Camille can kite Garen with the movement speed from her Q, and basically has a Cho ult on a 2-second cooldown later on, so it doesn't matter how tanky Garen can get. So let's see what happens. At the start of the lane, we already have a problem. Camille walks up to auto attack the wave and gets hit by Garen. With Camille's passive, she should always be prepared to trade autos if the enemy laner is going to contest her like this. She should be trying to use her passive to win a trade every time it's up. If she's just trying to hit the wave for the push advantage and get grabs started, that's fine, but she can do that from a safer spot like on the minion furthest away from Garen. The same thing is going to happen right after that, with Camille taking another free auto, and on top of this, she doesn't even use her W. This is just a waste of cooldowns and mana, because you have to remember, every champion has natural mana regen, so you're essentially wasting mana by being full mana like this. She needs to get use out of her passive and abilities as soon as possible, as level 1 sets up how the rest of the lane will go. Garen hits Camille with another auto and his Q, where she still fails to use her passive, but does end up hitting him with W at least, then finally walks up and auto attacks him to finish the trade. Now, notice how Camille is winning? She has more health than Garen even after all the misplays. That's kind of the point here. Imagine if Camille was playing the level 1 properly and using her passive and W at the right times while also trading autos back with Garen. She would have an even bigger health advantage. Anyways, Camille goes back to trolling and doesn't auto attack before the grass stacks fall off. I'm not sure exactly what she's so afraid of, but she ends up hitting Garen with another W when it comes up, which would give her a nice advantage, but she throws it away by letting Garen Q her without auto attacking him back just like before. Also, this is someone who plays a lot of Camille. This isn't a first time Camille or anything. She's going to finally trade autos with Garen here. I'm not sure why she wasn't afraid to do so now, but was too afraid earlier. But this next trade is a great example of players not using the OP parts of champions kits properly. So Camille's Q is an auto reset, meaning if your auto attack is on cooldown, you can still use it, which essentially means you can use 4 auto attacks pretty fast with auto Q, auto Q. But after they both hit level 2, Camille runs up and uses Q on this minion to last hit it, when she should have auto attacked the minion, then turned and used Q on Garen to proc her passive shield. The one good thing she has been doing right though is getting the push advantage, which lets her clear this next wave before Garen, so he has to back away. But she's going to make the exact same mistake when going for this next last hit, since her passive is still up and is basically being wasted in both of these trades. Then we have another big mistake coming up, right here as she hits level 3. The moment she hits level 3, she should be using E and jumping on the Garen, auto attacking him, then finishing the trade with her W. In higher elos, they wouldn't even be up this far to give her the chance to do this, but in this elo, Garen is actually walking at her right now, begging to lose his lane from this. He doesn't have TP, so if he gets chunked really hard, the lane is basically done for him. His passive won't heal him up enough this early. Camille had an entire 10 seconds to jump on Garen with her E and never did, losing out on a huge opportunity to just win the lane here. After clearing those minions though, Camille heads down to top Scuttlecrab, and they find the enemy jungle, Zed, in the river. Camille is going to make 2 mistakes here to underutilize the OP parts of Camille's kit. First, the angle on her E is wrong. With Camille's E, you don't actually have to hit the wall directly. You can hit a little further away from it, so she could have actually hit Zed here. I went into practice tool to show you what I mean though. As a Camille player, you need to know this, as it can be the difference between a kill or not, like in this scenario. If Camille hit Zed with her E here, he was dead, even with flash, because if he flashed away, she could W to slow him and catch up. Anyways, after missing her E, she lands W, but she doesn't use any of the auto resets on her Q. 2 extra autos is a lot of damage. It would have let her easily get Zed's flash here, if not kill him, combined with her ignite if he was greedy and held his flash. Somehow, neither Garen or Zed have to use flash here, when they should both die from this. Anyways, Camille ends up killing Garen when she gets back to lane, and it was a clean kill, so we can give her that. But you can see how much better the lane could have been played. Luckily for her, she's in low elo, and the Garen had no clue what he was doing either, and it's Garen's hardest matchup. This next clip is just one part from a plat for Camille vs Aatrox. One of the most OP parts about Camille is how insane her gank setup is, even without her ult. This play is a perfect example, but the concept we're going to talk about here applies to any champion with a gap closer in this scenario. So Camille and Aatrox are both level 3, and Kayn is coming around to gank. As that's happening, since Aatrox isn't respecting the jungler or warding, he actually goes into trade with Camille, and then uses his E on his second Q like this. Now, the moment he did this, he's dead. Without that small jump, it's impossible to live if Camille and Kayn play this properly. With the small jump, he actually can outplay it and barely survive. But Camille is going to give Aatrox a chance to outplay this because she uses E here. This is way too early. Aatrox is already right on top of her, so she can just auto him, then when he tries to flash away, she can use E to close the gap and finish him off. If Aatrox flashes her E right here, he can easily live, as Kayn won't have the damage this early to kill him, and Camille doesn't have flash. But since it's low elo, Aatrox doesn't flash the Camille E and flashes after it hits, which isn't going to work. Notice he almost got away without playing this even close to correct. He couldn't have played it any worse. Like I said though, this applies to any champion with a gap closer. If you were Jax, you would just hold your Q and E for when Aatrox goes to flash away, if he was already on top of you like in this scenario. There's no reason to use a gap closer early in the gank if they are in a really bad spot and you know they will have to flash to try and survive. For this next one, we're in Plat 4 still, but with a different Camille, and this time they're against a Tryndamere with Ghost and Ignite. At level 1, they actually play properly, taking advantage of Tryndamere having no Fury, and it might look like Camille just didn't auto attack here, but she was trying to do the auto resets I talked about earlier. She tried to start with an auto then use Q, but she was just a little bit too far away. But she ends up getting the auto Q combo off a few seconds later, which was a really nice chunk of damage, especially when combined with the grass proc. The way Camille is playing right now is perfect because she's zoning Tryndamere off the wave, which gives him no Fury, making him very weak if he tries to all in, while also giving her the push advantage to hit level 2 and 3 first. Tryndamere baits Camille into walking up here though, and gets a nice trade of his own. But then we have nothing too important to talk about until this next wave arrives. Alright, things are going to go downhill pretty fast here. The first important thing that happens here is Tryndamere walks up and uses his E. His E has a 12-second cooldown. Then Camille makes her first big mistake, using Q on a minion here for no reason. This is a very big deal because she's one minion from level 2 and Tryndamere already used his E, which would be his way of avoiding Camille's level 2 all in with her E. Camille should kill the next minion, then jump in with E and use her Qs for all that extra damage and movement speed. By wasting it early, she won't have it when she jumps in with E. But to make things even worse, she doesn't even jump in with E when she hits level 2. Even though, like I said, Tryndamere E is down. This is just like the Camille from earlier not abusing her level 3 spike. Level 2 and 3 advantage is so important in laning phase. When I play in low elo, I win lane in the first 3 levels 99% of the time. Also, if we pause here, Camille's Q comes back up before Tryndamere E does. So even after misplaying earlier, using Q right before she hit level 2, she had another chance to jump in. Tryndamere E has 2 seconds left before it comes up, but Camille just doesn't punish. Tryndamere is way overextended. She also has been making another huge mistake since the moment she hit level 2. If we go back to when she first leveled up, notice she's constantly auto-attacking minions and not just last hitting. This is a massive deal because now she's pushed top wave too fast, and this wave is going to half crash as the third wave is arriving, meaning the melee minions will hit the tower, but the ranged ones won't. This is going to put the wave in a spot where Tryndamere can farm without any pressure since his tower is right there, and Camille won't even be able to reach some of the minions, so she can't crash the wave. On top of this, Camille and Tryndamere should hit level 3 at basically the same time instead of Camille having the level 3 advantage. Also, Camille should get a free cheetah recall here, which gives her an item advantage. Tryndamere doesn't have TP, so this alone could win Camille the lane. It would look like this. Camille gets the push advantage at level 1 like she did. Then from that point, she would basically just last hit minions while also getting that big chunk of damage on Tryndamere from the level 2 all in that she missed out on. She would stack up 3 waves, which would make her level 3 and Tryndamere level 2. Tryndamere has Ghost and Ignite, so depending on how low he is when Camille crashes the big wave, she could potentially dive him and deny all of those minions, especially since he doesn't have TP. But if he has too much health, she can just recall and buy a longsword, then walk back the lane without even needing to use teleport. Tryndamere will take a while to clear the wave and will start slow pushing back to Camille. At that point, Camille can look to abuse her item advantage to fight Tryndamere and force him to overstay trying to crash the wave, or Tryndamere would just have to take a bad recall. Alright, and to make things even worse, because of the way Camille controlled the wave, she's now very easy to gank. And like I said, she can't hit the backline minions to crash this wave and reset it to get out of this terrible spot. What she did is one of the biggest mistakes a top laner can make. And as expected, the enemy jungler ganks, and even though Camille lived, she shouldn't have been able to. Tryndamere could have popped Ghost from the start, and Nocturne just needed to flash towards the wall and channel his E. Camille wouldn't be able to flash out of the E tether, and Tryndamere would catch up with Ghost, and they would kill her. But luckily for her, Camille E is really OP and lets her escape situations she shouldn't. Alright guys, so what was the main thing that these players were lacking that could have made their laning much stronger and get them fed? It's simple, fundamentals. Fundamentals are always the answer, no matter what the champion is. You can climb with any champion with good fundamentals, so stop focusing so hard on what champion to pick and just focus on improving and learning.
So you might be asking yourself, why go to SkillCapped.com to improve when I could just watch YouTube guides or play the game? Well, let me show you. Let's say you're a top laner who's struggling to climb the ladder. Not only would you get over 45 site exclusive courses for top lane, but maybe really what you've been struggling with is trading in top lane. Well, we got you covered with 4 different courses breaking down how to trade as a top laner. Not only do we have the largest catalog of guides for League of Legends in the entire world with over 1,500 videos to watch, but these are then curated by the top coaches and players into courses on every skill and topic you need to master in order to truly improve and climb the ladder. If all of this wasn't enough, we haven't even touched on our catalog of over 700 Smurf commentaries, where a challenger expert shows you how to climb out of your rank and you're guaranteed to get any questions answered by them directly. Not to mention, we're the only service to offer a rank improvement guarantee. If you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a refund, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Head to SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.